It's official. This is our act-based self-isolation. Episode 3. It's officially Thursday, April 9th, 2020. I'm here live with you folks. My name is Tim Gordon. I've got my friend Xenia Mivek here, also a social worker here in Canada land. And also our colleague, Steve Farrell. Welcome back, folks. Nice to see the two of you. Yeah. How are you doing this April 8th, 2020?
Tricky. It's a tricky one.
That's a tricky one, is it?
It's a tricky one today.
Okay. I mean, we're more than halfway through week 4.
Yeah, so it's been about a month. We just I had some conversations with some friends this morning via text about it's been like a month, meaning we said like halfway through week 4. I think I said earlier in the week that we got all the notifications on the day that it was a friend's kid's birthday party.
Okay.
So it was on a Thursday. It was Thursday, March 12th. So just kind of looking back at, pictures that we had from that day and from the next day on the Friday before kind of everything went really big. And I said, I'm over it. I'm finding myself bored and frustrated and want to make radical changes, like cutting my hair or taking down a wall in the house, like needing something to shift.
Totally. Yeah, I respect that. How about you, Steve?
I'm doing pretty good. We just got our CERB in this morning, which was exciting. So there's some Muna in the bank account, which feels nice, so that we can pay rent. So that always feels good when we pay rent. That happened this morning, and we've been okay. Because my son is he's in kindergarten, and he's also in a play-based learning kindergarten. So there hasn't been any curriculum that we've needed to keep up on other than like, let's go out and like look at bugs and stuff like that. So
totally.
So the stress is, and I would say like my wife and I are mostly hermits anyway. We're both homebodies, so this isn't out of the norm for us, other than like not being able to go out and see some of the people that we want to see, and do some of the things that we want to be able to do. Like we're hermits, but we're both like park people and trail people. Like Xenia like wants to get out on the trails, and we're sort of feeling that too. Like I'm really urging to get to the RBG, which is a really beautiful place in Hamilton. It's like hiking trails and vegetation.
The Royal Botanical Garden.
Yeah, the RBG. Yeah. So we're missing the RBG. Ellis asks about it all the time. Like, when can we go back to the RBG? And other than that, we're doing okay. I just distract them with chasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Distract them with chasing. Yeah. So I got an update from our friend Vicky, who has been liking our videos and commenting and hanging out with us, just saying would love to join at noon, but has to stay with the kids because her partner dad went to the grocery store. So
next time,
Vicky. Yeah. So I would love to, let's just dip right into a practice. And then I have a couple things I was hoping we could talk about today. Steve, you said that you'd be open to guiding us through a meditation this afternoon.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
All right.
So to begin, as per usual, just finding a relatively comfortable position. So whether that's seated in your chair or if you're on the couch somewhere watching. Also the invitation to softly close the eyes if that seems appropriate. But knowing that if it seems inappropriate to close the eyes for whatever reason, the recommendation be eyes open but gaze soft, so that you can see, but that you're not necessarily looking at or for anything. And also feel free to take a moment to wriggle around, to really settle in. The analogy that I've been using with a lot of my clients lately is like that of a cat or a dog that doesn't just jump up and sit down, that they kind of need the pillow or the blanket or the couch for a bit before they really settle in. And so if there's some movements that you need to take, you take some movements. And then we'll take 3 breaths on purpose as you settle into that position. You know, when we say breaths on purpose, that doesn't necessarily mean deeper or longer breaths, just breaths with more attention. And then really inviting the breath to then be soft and to be easy. And then I invite you to notice as the breath gets simple and involuntary, just where is it in the body that you feel that breath? Wherever that sensation is the strongest, or wherever those sensations are the most obvious. Knowing that there's really no wrong place to feel breathing. And so some of you might even notice some thoughts around that. Okay, I've heard that I'm supposed to breathe into my belly. That's the right place. I'm not supposed to breathe into my neck. That's the wrong place. And can you instead just notice, like, where does the breath want to move? And so if right now you feel your breath mostly in your left eyebrow, just know that that's okay. And as you're here feeling breathing, doing your best not to manipulate the breath. And sometimes that can be the difficult part of a practice, is to pay attention to something without manipulating it, without shaping it. And as you rest your attention on breathing, also noticing what else is happening around you or within you. So as you pay attention to breathing in the foreground, allowing that attention to expand, to also pick up on the background. And so it's not as though we're using something like breathing as a way to ignore everything else. Instead, we can use an anchor like the breath to stabilize our attention so that perhaps it becomes easier to notice the other things. If the mind does begin to wander or get wrapped up in sounds or thinking, just noticing, acknowledging, and gently guiding your attention back to the breath. And then from this place of stillness and attention, take a slightly deeper, slightly longer inhale and exhale. And do that 2 more times, slightly deeper, slightly longer inhale and exhale. After that final manipulation of breath, beginning to move the body in any way that feels good and feels natural and feels necessary. In the eyes, looking around. I now have a cat beside me that was not there before. The powers of meditation. There's now a cat here.
It's funny because I became, it's so nice to just have a nice sit, and I became more aware of my posture, and it allowed me to have an opportunity to, adjust my posture and to sit a little taller. Yeah. It's so nice having someone else guiding a meditation for me. Thank you, Steve. That's real good, man.
Hey, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
Breath is my go-to. I love breathing. It's just,
I love breathing.
I love breathing. I really do. Like from a meditative aspect and from just like a functional human being physiological or like animal physiological aspect. I love the act of breathing.
Yeah. Right on. Thanks, Steve.
Very welcome.
Rachel Stam says, my dog showed up too.
They can feel it, right? Like they feel the good vibes.
Yeah, that's what I'm putting that in the super chat. Good vibes your dog is attracted to. Right on. Yeah. How are you doing today, Rachel? Let us know in the super chat. And of course, you can always join us live on the Zoom call. You just go hit us up with an email. Yeah, or type in your email into the super chat, and I can send you the details if you want to join us tomorrow. Yeah.
I feel like when you say super chat, it should be like one of those things that you have on like a radio station, like boo, 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 super chat.
I know. I think they call it a super chat because like people can, I don't know, donate, they can put in emojis, they can do, yeah, whatever they want to do. They can do more than just chat, I guess. That's what,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been doing a lot of Instagram live stuff, like classes, taking them. And there's always like people typing stuff in and hearting and thumbing up. And
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, Instagram Live. So just to piggyback off of our conversation that we had yesterday, I actually I had a couple emails from people who watched the live stream afterwards, and they actually just shared. One person shared with me that they really appreciated that I mentioned the fact that some people who are on a pension, they may be noticing that their pension payments are lower because the stock market taking a bit of a dive, and so they just wanted to know that, you know, they wanted us to know that they appreciated that, you know, we were talking about people in all kinds of different financial circumstances. I thought this would be a really cool opportunity since all three of us are self-employed. How are, Steve, you talked a little bit about it in our last session where you said, you know, you applied for the CERB, which is exclusive to Canada, but I know other nations have similar options. And you've already received your first payment, which is awesome. And Zany, you've talked a little bit, but I thought we could each talk about just how we're managing our finances. I mean, my pocketbook has taken a significant hit. I'm even offering some of my supervisees, you know, they've been asking me for shorter times, you know, so they can pay less money. I've been offering them no fee sessions or deferring their payments until, you know, they have cash flow. A lot of people weren't ready for this, didn't have the capacity. And I've been making camera recommendations, cheap prime lenses, as well as, you know, the device, the capture card, but those are getting sold out everywhere, which is also then also driving the price up on Amazon as well, for some of these devices, or they're just outright not available. So yeah, some people are really struggling to even gain capacity to do even what we're doing right now, like video chat. Yeah, so how are you two managing your finances?
Sorry, I'm distracted. I have a little eyeballs. Come here.
Who's
Little
this?
eyeballs peering through. You want to come say hi?
Who is it?
I'm on like computer TV.
computer TV.
What?
It's a live broadcast on YouTube.
It's computer TV.
Tim's a YouTuber. Tim is a YouTuber. So
Yeah, it's like YouTube, Elliot. It is YouTube. Oh, that got him.
Ow.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't put away, but I was just coming.
So come here. This is my son Elliot.
Hi, Elliot.
Elliot, this is my friend Tim, and this is
You
my
know-
friend Steve, and we are on YouTube Live, and we're just talking about how we're managing during this time right now with all the COVID stuff.
So this is a YouTube.
Yeah, we're on a YouTube channel.
Yeah, bro.
How are you feeling about all this COVID stuff?
Fine.
Fine.
You should ask Wolfie.
I should ask Wolf.
Yeah.
That's the 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old.
Aw. And Elliot, you're almost 10, right?
Yeah.
Right on. You know, this stream would probably get a lot more views if it was a gaming channel. Do you watch any gaming
Yeah.
channels?
That's
who
gonna
do
be
you
like
watch?
a new game of how to, keeping your distance and avoiding the super bug. And
what's
There we
like
go.
I don't know if anybody like online plays Splinter Cell. Like I'm a big Splinter Cell fan, and as far as gaming,
Is Splinter Cell still a game?
it's still, well, I don't know. I play old games though.
I play old games.
But part of a really great part of Splinter Cell as a game is staying in the shadows, keeping your distance. Don't let anybody see you. So
Okay.
it is
Yeah,
like a
I mean, I remember Splinter Cell.
from back in the day.
Come on,
Yeah.
Wolfie.
so how we're managing is, I have another one here. Come quick, say hi.
Wolfie.
Aw.
This is my other one. This is Wolf.
Oh, hi.
Buddy.
Hello.
Hello.
So how are we managing with some finances? We are, at the beginning, we kind of went and decided for whatever reason that we needed to get a whole bunch of stuff for the kids to do. Extra Legos, extra workbooks, not too sure what's happening.
Yeah.
My pocketbook has had a little bit of a dip for sure.
Yeah.
But kind of looking at what is, my husband is still working, so he's still getting kind of his full pay right now, which is really helpful and good. But offering, in terms of my practice, offering alternatives to the same one-on-one sessions I've developed a new course. It's called Exhale. It's a
Yeah.
virtual retreat. It's something that's going to start next Monday on the 20th, a week Monday.
Where can people
Um,
register for that?
It's on Eventbrite, and I think, Tim, do you have the link? Because you might be able to throw it in the super chat. It's on my own website too, which is alittlesen.ca
That's right.
/exhale virtual retreat or something like that.
Yeah.
So just something that people can still be a part, still get a lot of the practices that we would do in the individual sessions at a lower cost.
Yeah.
So doing kind of that sort of stuff, but then also, taking a step back and recognizing what is really important that we need to buy, trying not to be wasteful for our things, our food. It's conversations that I've had with these two a lot, which is really, it's a great practice. And I think it's really important for us moving forward, even outside of all this, to be aware of what we're consuming and what is truly what is a need versus a want.
Yeah.
Are you going now? Casey? Yeah.
I've been cooking a lot more.
Mhm.
A lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did pop the link for your virtual retreat, which I think is a great idea. Very inclusive and very social worky of you, by the way, to make, yourself, your time and your resources available at a low cost.
Yeah.
I've been working with a lot of, I offer online educational courses, and actually the company who hosts it has offered to pay me to do some mentoring to help their folks with the stuff that they're dealing with. Like, how do we manage like selling online courses? And what I've been telling people is, sell for as close to cost as you can, but the sad thing is about doing this work online is it ain't free, right? I mean,
No. Yeah.
we've got bills to pay as well. And then for folks like us who are self-employed, so like, when we've got royalties coming in, even though those royalty checks may not be very big, that's still income that's coming in. And so, or, deferring payments from clients. I mean, it's still by the CRA, it's still considered income that's coming in, even if we're deferring payments. So we have to be, really cautious about how we cost things out.
Yeah.
So
and
I'm
so, like paying rent, right? Like I have an office space. I think I talked about this earlier in the week that I'm not really using to the full capacity. And I've had a few people ask me, are you just going to close up shop and then apply for the
CERB. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, no, I can't, even though I've lost some income.
Yeah.
I can't apply for it because I'm still making income.
Yep.
I'm still having some stuff come in.
Yeah.
But then it's, I have people that I'm still working with that need that support, that want to continue to have that support. And it's also a support for me, and not just the financial piece to keep working, but it's part of who I am. What serves me. It's what supports me kind of spiritually and emotionally and holistically to work on my purpose, to keep that happening. So
Yeah,
it is an important piece.
absolutely. By the way, our friend Bill Filipsic, who works with Wounded Warriors, such a cool guy. He's saying, hi, Elliot. Hi, Wolf. Got you guys up in the super chat. And also our friend Rachel Stam followed up, said, I don't say this out loud much as it almost makes me feel as though something is, quote, wrong with me. We'll be the judge of that, Rachel. Just kidding. But I actually, as an introvert, am finding this new world much less stressful than the old world, with an exclamation.
Yeah, I'm the same. I am an introvert. And like I was saying with me and my wife, we're both introverts. Like I love socializing and I have like a really strong group of friends, but like there's something really nice about not being rushed out of the door in the morning and having to sometimes, like, especially as a yoga teacher, there's almost a performance aspect of it. And it's like, I'm not outperforming all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm agree with Rachel that there's something about like, and I'm going to say this from my privilege standpoint, like, cause it's obviously a certain amount of privilege that we have to be isolated and secluded and still like, have support and we're not running out of food and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to agree that there's something about it that actually feels very soothing as far as my nervous system is concerned.
Yeah.
There's an interesting part of that, because I think when people meet me, they think I'm an extrovert because I am a very social person. I went to theater school. There's that performance part, like you're saying, Steve, about kind of being a yoga teacher, being in front of cameras, being in front of groups of people. I'm cool with that. But I also have a very strong introverted side as well too, where after that, I need to have that quiet and alone time. And as much as I'm loving what's happening right here around me with these little squirrels coming up, that introverted self needs time for just me.
Yeah.
And to be away from these wonderful darlings sometimes, and having that space. And we live in a small house.
Yeah.
So there's not many rooms to go to have that kind of quiet space. So it's a bit of a struggle. And I think I said this earlier in the week too, like when this is all done, what am I going to do? I want to go off and be by just me for a few minutes, to allow few minutes, few days, couple hours, whatever it is, to allow there to be that time to process and integrate. Because I think that, in yoga, at the end of each yoga class, what do? We have Shavasana. And what is that? That's that integration time.
Yeah.
So Tim, you asked yesterday, or we talked yesterday about what is this going to look like at the end? And what is this going to look like at the end for us as healthcare providers? And I think there's going to be a lot of integration time.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
Mommy,
smart.
what do you use when you're talking with your clients?
Yes, something like this.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to send you
I
off
love
then.
I love the curiosity. Hi guys.
Hi.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Welcome.
So you two will be very proud to know that yesterday I did grab my new telephoto lens, and I not only I did a bunch of gardening, but I also caught golden hour, which in the photography world is that time where the sun is about to set and the color temperature of the light is nice and golden. And yeah, I did some cute outdoor portraits and had the dog
That's
running
awesome.
around, and yeah, caught some cool photos of her as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Steve, how are you guys managing your finances during this time?
We're doing okay. My finances are interesting in that I make money in a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
And since all of those places have been affected, what I've chosen to do, especially as far as yoga is concerned, within the idea of qualifying for the CERB, especially since I'm the sole breadwinner of the house. I make all the money. And my wife is a stay-at-home. And so because of that, with the CERB in mind, I've chosen to teach yoga on a volunteer basis once or twice a week until this whole thing with the CERB and the COVID is sort of taking control. I'm laying back as much as I can just to be able to qualify that to support my family. Finances are definitely tricky right now. The good thing was, like, we got CERB this morning, so we paid rent, and then just decreasing as many bills as we possibly can.
Same.
Taking steps to make sure that there's not so much output. So like what Zinu was saying is just being aware of how much we're consuming, so that we don't have to spend too much money in different locations.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been difficult. It's been on my mind a lot. It's my primary source of anxiety right now, because especially, again, being the sole breadwinner of the house, and my income is the only income. When that gets disrupted, it sets everything else on more of an unstable platform, for sure.
Of course. Yeah. I've been cooking a lot more.
And I've been doing a lot more dishes.
Do either of you track how much you spend through your bank account or your credit cards with applications like Mint?
No, I don't. My wife does most of the tracking.
So
I bring it in and she figures out where to put it.
So I get these, so the app gives me updates, but I also get emails from them, and it's like, you can tell there's like this ominous tone to the email. It's like, you've spent 400% less this week or this month than previous months. Like, are you okay? Let's find out what's changed in your spending habits.
You're not consuming as much.
Totally. Yeah, no, not nearly as much.
Yeah.
I'm not at the house. I'm not paying money for fuel. I'm not, buying lattes. I'm not buying myself or other people lunch. Right. Yeah. And like, we've been doing grocery runs every other week, not even every week. So yeah. Yes, that's been pretty interesting. As a small business person, so Xenia, this might be of an interest to you. So, if you don't have one, folks who are watching, get a business bank account. In Canada, you can get a $40,000 loan from your bank for your small business. Sort of, this is to help small businesses through this crisis as well. and it's likely that the government will forgive about 10,000 of it. So kind of like, and I don't want to call this free money because it certainly isn't free money, right? The money's coming, through our taxation system, and I'm sure we're going to see some new taxes after this is over. Like, Canada has a low number of even though we complain about being taxed a lot. There's some things that we don't get taxed on that many nations do. So I'm sure we're going to see some new taxes as a result of this, just to pay for this. But 10,000 of that $40,000 loan can be that's being subsidized through the government is actually being forgiven, it sounds like, by the federal government. So that's some relief for small businesses to just, I think, help with cash flow for sure.
Yeah.
I think another important financial lesson that we might be going through here is, a friend of mine commented to me the other day, like having money for a rainy day was really important, or having money set aside in case of an emergency, in case you can't work, is important. And I'm wondering if this might be a good opportunity for us to have what, as a therapist, I would say is one of the hardest conversations to have with our clients. It's not sex, it's money, right? Talking about money and financial planning and saving. I think that's a really tough thing for people to talk about. I know it's a bit anecdotal, but it's what I've noticed.
Mhm.
Yeah. How about you two? Do you two talk to your clients about their finances at all? I mean, you may address it with a sliding scale, but
Yeah,
otherwise?
like I would say for me, like when I was doing that, we would talk about, I have a couple sliding scale clients, and so that would be an issue. But for the most part, I would say with my clients that finances don't really come up very often, unless they're asking for a break on payment. Right?
Totally. How about you, Zane?
I do talk with them actually quite a bit about it. So I think probably coming from my years of, excuse me, working in hospital-based and community social work and doing that assessment, that finances would be part of the piece that you would talk about, right?
Yeah.
If someone is in hospital. So it's always kind of been, and what I've noticed a lot, even before COVID, is talking about people's sense of self-worth and what they're worth. So having a job that they absolutely love and adore, but don't make a lot of money in it, because it's a startup or it's a nonprofit, but then at the point where they're struggling to be able to make their own and their own ends meet, right? Like to make it through what they need to do. And I've been there myself where I've stayed in a job that I absolutely adored because I believed in the cause, but I was actually going further into debt because I wasn't making enough to make my car payment, and I had to have a car because of where I lived. So it wasn't like it was a luxury piece. So I have actually kind of talked a lot about the finances and looking at, what is your self-worth? So what are you worth for that? And
how do people respond to this, Anya, when you bring this up with them? Because you're really breaking a social convention there, right?
I say like, let's talk about it. And I think they respond really well. And I've shared stuff because I've worked in like in public settings where, it's unionized. If someone wanted to know when I was working at the hospital how much I made or the range, it's an easy thing to find out. And also, relatively speaking, and noticing really the disparity between, person A here that's working for a startup and loves the job and loves the flexibility, and then person B that's working for a recognized corporation. They're doing the exact same job, and the differences of what they're making is like over 60,000, sometimes double.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. So having that conversations, and I just say like, are you cool to talk about this? Like, I know it's uncomfortable, but we did also just talk about sex, or we talked about relationships, or we talked about whatever. And
substance
I
use,
think using, and I think kind of when the response has been well, and we've recognized it, and, they know how much I'm charging because they're paying it. And then putting that into that perspective of saying like, that transparency piece. I know, Steve, you said that at the beginning too, like, hey, I'm transparent, and I try to be as authentic and bring that out and use that professional use of self of saying, I get it. I know what that's like, but this is important because money is a stress.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I also see too is when I've been working with youth, how much money is a stress. and their parents' money is a stress.
Mhm.
And having those conversations. And I have those conversations with my kids, right? Especially right now. Like, I really, like, if you didn't finish that bagel, like, we're not tossing it out.
Yeah.
We had the bagel conversation yesterday. It was
Well, the other interesting thing that came up yesterday too was they got some Legos. I bought some Legos. So for when, like, if it's a rainy day and we need to do something different, like, here's Lego sets. And the little one was playing with it and he dropped it and a part of it broke off, which it's Lego, put it back together, but he picked it up and he threw it in the garbage. I was like, what are you not throw Lego in the garbage? He's like, but it broke off. I'm like, but you have a huge bin of just stuff in there anyways, like of loose Lego pieces. So I took it out and we washed it and we let it there. And I was like, you can't do that, buddy. It costs money. And having that understanding of if you want this, that means we might have to go without that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
On those pieces. So, but the stress, the money is a big stress.
Yeah.
It comes down to our survival, right? That Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that security, that shelter, that food,
Mhm.
that stuff costs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So to all those folks who are watching, yeah, we are also cognizant of our finances, and absolutely we're with you in heart. And hopefully we will start to see recent data is showing a little bit of a I believe the term that's being used is planking of the curve.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we can soon get back to our lives where we're able to make a gainful income and spend money with some of your restaurants and the stores that you folks work in or run. Yeah. And don't forget, Steve, I've also received at least one message where somebody was curious about those masks that your family member is producing. Yeah. Oh, you have yours right there. Oh, it's very cool. I like it.
Actually, my wife made this one.
Yeah.
So my wife has made some. So if anybody wants to get in contact with me, feel free to share my contact info.
Can I put your email in the
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
2 R's and 2 L's, right?
2 R's, 2 L's.
stevefarrellcounseling@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And counseling is
and they're really nice and they're comfortable. And some of them are built with pockets so that you can exchange filters. So some of them have filters that you can put in them and you can exchange the filters. And yeah,
and what is a filter exactly, Steve?
It's I don't know exactly. I can't say. It's just this is what my wife and my mother-in-law tell me. So I think it's a protective filter that screens whatever out. So it's something that you put into the mask as an extra layer of protection.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I don't know exactly how it works though. You'd have to talk to my wife about that.
And can they make kid-sized ones as well?
Yeah, my wife has a kids template as well. We have a bunch for my daughter and my son.
Cool. I love it. All right. Zane, you said you'd guide us through a brief movement practice before we wrap up
Sounds
for
great.
today.
Okay. So I thought, I know we're doing lots of seated stuff. Maybe next week we can get into kind of standing up, but we'll stay with seated today. So I want to just go through a real kind of basic starting point of going through what I call the 7 movements of the spine. So we've got the 6 movements of the spine, and the 7th movements of the spine is that decompression, that lengthening. So I'll just get you to find yourself in a comfortable seated pose, if that's where you're at, somewhere where you can feel both sits bones rooted into the chair or the floor. If it's comfortable for you to let your eyes close, go for it. If not, you can just look down, you can look at the screen. And take a second to connect with our breath. We always want to connect with our breath. Such an important tool. Placing one hand on the belly and another hand just above the heart. And as you breathe in, however your breath is showing up for you today, take notice of how the belly reaches out towards the hand. And then maybe at the top of the inhalation, feeling the heart lift into the other palm. The belly softens, the heart drops. Take a few moments to connect with your breath and notice the waves of breath that draw in from the base, the bottom of our lungs, and then flow up to the top. Breath washing in, breath washing out. And keeping that full breath flowing throughout this little practice. You can release the hands. And then we're just going to start by dropping the chin towards the chest, moving into a gentle forward bend, allowing the shoulders to roll, and gently sink down, lowering, folding onto the lap. Giving the head a little sway from side to side, a little nod, just opening up the neck, rolling the shoulders, letting the belly be soft. And then slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time, like you're slowly drawing in a fishing line. Rolling all the way back up. So the last thing that comes up is the head. So there's our forward bend. Here we're going to add that seventh movement, that decompression, so that lengthening. So feeling the sits bones, the base of the spine rooting into the chair, and allowing there to be space. So space between the lower ribs and the hips, space between the ears and the shoulders, space between the upper and lower jaw. Moving into our back bend, see if you can bring your hands behind you. So whether you interlace your fingers behind your back or you hang onto the back of the chair. And as Steve was saying, starting to tilt that pelvis forward like you're dipping out the bucket. Love it. Gonna snag that one for my classes. Letting the tummy come forward, letting the heart lift, drawing the head up and back and reaching up towards the light up above. This is my favorite time to add some facial movements. So circling the jaw, opening up the mouth widely, raising the eyebrows, making all those fantastic, wonderful faces that sometimes you want to do but feel like you can't. And then squishing the face up into a tiny little ball. So they said in theater school, like you're trying to squish your face into a mini teacup. And then allowing that to soften, bring the chin back towards center line, open up the shoulders back, coming back into a neutral. So we've done our forward bend, our back bend. We're going to move into a side bend. So bringing the left arm down by the side, take the right arm up, swooping it up and overhead, and then arching over to the left. Keeping some space between the lower ribs and the hip on the left side. And then we're going to gently tilt. So lifting the heart forward, rolling that top shoulder back. Your gaze can be upwards or it can look down, whatever feels more comfortable for your neck. And really feeling the breath in the right side ribs. Draw the belly button in towards the spine. Windmill the arms, bring the right arm down, the left arm up. And then a little arch over to the opposite side. Again, breathing now into the left side ribs as we lift the heart up and maybe do a gentle arch backwards as that top shoulder rolls back. Feeling the breath in those left side ribs. The breath continues to wash over you like waves upon a shore. And then inhale, coming all the way back into center, releasing the arms. Doing a little shoulder roll. The last part we're going to go through is to our little seated spinal twists. So I like bringing my right arm forward, Give a little wave. And then we're going to circle it up. And as we start to circle it back, we'll do a gentle twist. If you have an arm on your chair, you can bring your left hand over. Let the right hand hang behind you. And imagining that we're twisting not with our shoulder or our neck, but more so with our heart and our belly. And give it a little gentle twist over to the right. Turning over to the right shoulder. This is where we add that seventh movement again, that decompression. On the inhale, we lengthen. On the exhale, giving a twist. Wringing out the spine as if we're wringing out a dish rag. Inhale, and then exhale, slowly unravel back to center. Notice the difference in the side. Give a little wiggle, and then bring the left arm up. You can twinkle your fingers at me and sweep up, hello, and back. Giving a gentle twist. Maybe this time taking your right hand, if you don't have an arm on the chair, you can place it on the outside of your left knee. That twist is coming from the mid torso. Full breath in, lengthen. Full breath out, twist. And then again, inhale, we're gonna unravel, come on back. Find that center space, do any other movement that the body is calling for. Place the hands in the lap, they can be open on the thighs. Allow the eyes to close. And take a moment to allow this brief movement practice to integrate. Feel the breath that flows through the body. Allow the body to relax, maybe 5 or 10% more. Feel the sensations that move through the physical body. Watch what surfaces for you. What are the thoughts or emotions that pass through the mind? And then allow all to be what is in this moment. Perhaps you feel some of that energy, some tingling in the palms of the hand. We're going to slowly lift them up. Bring them towards each other into our heart center. The heart lifts and reaches towards the thumbs. Full breath in. Full breath out. And then when you're ready, slowly allowing the eyes to open, come back to our space.
Beautiful practice, Xenia.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was nice.
Very, very much.
Oh, my spine.
Yeah, that was
Feels
just
alive.
today.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, folks, for joining us on this Thursday, April 9th, 2020. Wherever you are in the world, we're here with you. Feel free to hop on to the chat on YouTube tomorrow. Same time we'll be on here. And of course, you can always email me, tim@thezensocialworker.ca, if you'd like to come on the call live and hang out with us and talk a little bit about how you're managing self-isolation. Of course, we're always open to answering your questions. In the super chat, I've given you Steve's email address, stevefarrellcounseling@gmail.com. Get in touch with him to snag one of those really cool face masks. A little zen.ca. I also put in the Exhale Virtual Retreat link for Xenia's online virtual retreat, so you can get more connection with Xenia. And I'll also I'll throw in a link as well to my my online courses, in case anybody's interested in spending a little bit of self-isolation time nerding out on on ACT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. This has been a lot of fun. And don't forget, we're here for you. I know that self-isolation is hard. Is there anything that you two want to add just before we say goodbye?
just a thanks to everybody for showing up, and thank you for the two of you for bringing this together and allowing it to happen. And yeah.
Oh, you're very welcome, Steve.
Yeah, same. Thank you for being here with us and taking your time out. And, in Canada for sure, and different parts of the world, tomorrow might be a stat. So hopefully, if there's people that can't do it because they're in working during this time, maybe they can make it tomorrow with us. And maybe if you've got those extra kiddos, we can do something a little bit with them as well.
Absolutely.
Just a
I'm
thought.
open to that.
I'm sure Elliot, my older one, likes to be a co-teacher with me. So maybe he can offer something as well.
That's
Kiddo
adorable.
version.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe we can make Fridays our
Family
children's
fun day.
Family. Yeah.
Friday Family Fun Day.
FridayFamilyFunday.com. All right. I'm gonna register that URL right now.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody. Take care of yourself.